is no record of a star station in this orbit. Something is not right.
This is Sirach on the Starfield Oracle. We are anomalous in readings. Member crew have been compromised. Do not repeat. Not board. This is Sirach on the Starfield Oracle. We are anomalous in readings. Member crew have been compromised. Do not repeat. Not board. This is Sirach on the Starfield Oracle. We are anomalous in readings.
I cannot give up.
I do not like the cold. Stiffens the joints, lowers reaction times. This place.
Hold on. You are strong. Concentrate.
I'm trying, Sirach, but it's getting worse. I can feel my mind slipping, fragmenting. I'll become one of them. You have to get away from me.
No, I will not leave you here.
It's pointless. We share this fate. This is our end. The great. No. No, it's happening. Sirach, run. I can't stop it.
Quiet.
What happened? Who did this? I see no one, and yet I can feel a presence. But how?
It is
This should
pleasing
be
to
the
speak
last.
with you.
Is
Thank
someone
you
there?
for
or-
the conversation and
My mind turns against me. I must return to engineering and make one last attempt to restore the power.
Sirach Veth'aal. Post-incident log. Something has gone horribly wrong. We were in orbit directly above Dazra, monitoring our current experiments when we experienced a sudden energy surge. I fear the source came from the city itself. It triggered our grav drive and jumped the Oracle to an unknown location. We thought members of the crew were somehow lost in the jump. But later, we were attacked by what I will refer to as Vortex Phantoms. I thought I recognized some of them. Could it be that the energy surge has somehow transformed them and warped their minds? Sirach Veth'aal. Post-incident log. After the initial jump, areas of the Oracle have somehow been sectioned off by strange energy fields or barriers. The fields allow no one to pass and are somehow able to repel, almost teleport, the trespasser back. I am certain these new fields are related to the Vortex Phantoms. Both resonate with the same energy pattern. The exact same pattern we were studying for Anasco's experiments. Something happened in Dazra. And if the situation is bad here, I fear for our brethren in the city. Sirach Veth'aal. Post-incident log. The Oracle has continued to jump. It is completely out of our control. Not only that, but I believe the initial surge of energy we experienced is transformative. With each passing day, more of the crew succumb to whatever residual energy we were exposed to. Most are instantly hostile, but we discovered some are able to retain a sense of self. At least, momentarily.
cells dislodged in the last jump. The gravity. Restoring the gravity may pull the cell into place. If I can get to the control room, if I can No! They are coming!
Veth'aal. Post-incident log. I am one of the few remaining unaffected crew on the Oracle. Nadine, Basira, and Taras are the only others I was able to find. I fear it is just a matter of time before we succumb to this energy that is turning the others. How long will we last? And will my mind be strong enough to hold out when my time comes? Basira and I have programmed the Oracle to return to Varun Kai's orbit once it is able. All of our research will automatically be transmitted the moment we are within Dasra's range. I pray our work here was not in vain.
Damn controls! Why will they not respond to me? Work, damn you!
Warning. Gravity procedure initiated. Please check your surroundings to ensure personal safety. Restoring gravity in 3, 2, 1. Power cell connected. Report to operations for system reboot.
Varun operations are always as self-sustaining as possible. We have only ever been able to rely on ourselves.
The Vortex Phantoms. Where did they go? Something is wrong. No! Not now! I have to hold on!
Gonna take more than that!
Mainframe reboot initiated. Commencing protocol. Station lockdown completed. All major systems on standby. Mainframe reboot completed. Warning, station jump procedure initiated. Please check your surroundings to ensure personal safety. Jump in 3, 2, 1. Execute. Jump completed. Station lockdown released. Initiating data transfer. Incoming transmission.
This is Dasra calling the Oracle Station. We've received your transmission. Your orders are to send a representative down here immediately. It appears we have much to discuss.
Poor Sirac. So close to seeing their efforts realized.
Hold very still and choose your words carefully. They will determine how long you live.
We are no threat to House Baroon, I promise you.
You have no right to be here. You will tell me how you found this place. You trespass in Dasra, the home of House Va'ruun, and you disgrace it with every heretical step you take. I say again, who are you, and how did you find this place? But it was lost. All communication ceased. There was no sign of it.
It was deemed necessary at the time. We will re-evaluate that decision in light of what has happened. Voris, I think we need not fear our guest. Perhaps, in this time of need, the Great Serpent has delivered us a gift.
Counselor, with due respect, we have not had unannounced visitors here in generations. It is a clear breach of security.
I do not disagree, and I know that security, in whatever small form we can grasp it, is of paramount importance. But you must acknowledge the timing is curious. And perhaps our guest's intent should be determined before we take further action. We received the automated transmission, but you are certainly not who we expected to find.
Great Serpent!
What's happening again?
Hear me!
Speaker, we are here!
We have reached out to you, to seek guidance in our hour of need. The gate in the Citadel has been opened just to seek you.
What has happened?
Have I failed you? What is this place? Where am I? Why do you not show yourself? I strive only to follow your command. All must serve. Please, do not leave me in darkness. I seek only your wisdom, your guidance. Great Serpent, your children cry out to you. Will you not answer us?
Our leader, Anasko Va'ruun, he has appeared like this over and over. So many of our people have been trapped in this state, these vortex phantoms. But usually they are hostile and lash out. Anasko is different. If only we could hear his voice, some reassurance that all is not lost. Anasko Varun is our leader, the grandson of Jinan Varun himself. He sometimes appears to us, but we cannot interact. I am not able to go into detail. There was an experiment, an accident. Many of our people left in a similar state, while most are hostile. Anasko is... The Great Serpent spared him that fate. He's different. If only we could communicate with him. You could hear him. Despite the sightings, none have heard the word from Anasko in all this time, yet you claim to. Do not toy with me. Not about this. If you speak truth, you must prove it. What did he say? The serpent.
He said that? I heard nothing. Given the gravity of the situation, surely there is no way you would joke about such a thing.
It is no joke. Truly, you did hear Anasko. You have been chosen. People of House Varun, hear me. We have asked the Great Serpent for deliverance from our calamity, and he has answered us. This outsider has been chosen as the most unlikely vessel for the Great Serpent's divine providence, and he will help save us all. Outsider, please. There is no denying you have been sent here as a sign. You must help us. But there are precepts that must be followed, principles that must be obeyed. Even in these dire circumstances, we cannot turn from Jinan Varun's teachings. You will be granted safe passage through Dazra and the lands beyond. No harm will come to you. On that, you have my word. You even have my assurance that your compatriot here will also remain unharmed. But to truly aid us, you must become part of House Varun. This is not a thing done lightly, and it cannot be taken back. Will you commit to helping us by becoming one of the promised? Well, efforts to do something, anything, about our current dilemma have fallen to political infighting. I believe your arrival, if nothing else, represents a sign from the Great Serpent himself that we must finally put aside our differences and work together. It must be ordained that you would appear before us now, able to hear the speaker when no one else can. You must mean the Zealots. I assure you, they do not represent House Varun. We do not engage with the settled systems. They would attack us just as soon as you or anyone else. And they would certainly never extend an offer to join them, as I do now in this time of desperation. So, will you? We, the people of House Varun, are the promised. The Great Serpent has blessed us with knowledge of the future and our place in it. Our service to him guarantees us a place in the new worlds he will create when he returns to enshroud the universe. A greater gift could not be bestowed upon you. Excellent. Please, come with me. Forgive me for not introducing myself. I am Dul'Kehf, a member of the High Council of House Varun. I have been asked to represent the Council in this moment. Please, enter our city. You have my word that you will not be harmed. I would ask that until you have become promised, you avoid the citizens of Dazra. They are not used to outsiders. Open the gate! Must temper what I revealed for now, but surely you saw the scaled citadel as you arrived. It was the center of an explosion of sorts that has annihilated most of our city. We have lost many of our brothers and sisters. I believe we are still in danger.
Counselor, what is the meaning of this?
Is there a problem, Makula?
The city is in shambles. The speaker is missing, and here you are leading some outsider through our sacred space? Why allow this husk to defile our city? Have we not lost enough?
Have faith. I believe this outsider was guided here by the great serpent himself. Soon, serpent willing, they will be one of us. But I can be sure and pass your concerns on to the rest of the High Council, if you wish. I apologize for the interruption. There is a ritual intended for converts to the Promised that has not been performed in generations. We are fortunate that there are those still alive who remember the old ways and have remained prepared for such a moment as this. I suspected we might find you here waiting.
I saw the ship landing. I knew immediately that I would be needed.
Indeed you are. This is Inaza Kaisir, Herald of the Serpent. She will guide you through the ritual. I am needed elsewhere, but I assure you that you are in good hands.
So, the Great Serpent sends you to me. No husk that walk the Serpent's path. To enter this sacred cave, there is no turning back. You will be forever changed. This is a path you must walk of your own free will, alone. Will you step forward and emerge anointed, one of the Promised? You have not been filled with purpose by the Great Serpent, so you are merely a husk. But perhaps not for long. Those born to House Va'ruun spend every day surrounded by our history. The rituals that separate us from the husks happen naturally over time. You have not experienced that. Those who have not answered the Serpent's call cannot coexist with House Va'ruun. And so, if you are to aid us in our time of need, you must become one of the Promised. A lesson, a test, a moment for the Great Serpent to reach out and fill you with something more than what you have been. Then enter, and I shall guide you along the Serpent's path. But this is a journey you must undertake alone. Your escort cannot follow.
Herald Inaza will show you the way.
I will await you at the end of the Serpent's path. A difficult question. The original converts were accepted in the years after House Va'ruun first made contact with the settled systems. Once the Serpent's crusade began, there were fears that anyone from the outside could be spies, infiltrators. And after the crusade, few were eager to join. When Jinan Varun's son Jarek took power, we pulled back, rejected contact with non-believers. We removed any avenues for converts to find us. But there were those among us who hoped that one day we might help others see the light of the Great Serpent's teachings. And if we can survive our current situation, your presence here now might sway opinions on future converts. I carry on the traditions that Jinan Varun began and maintain our people's connection to the Great Serpent. I and others like me look after the temples and offer guidance to those who need it. And now, it seems I am called upon to help the Serpent's call fill a new vessel. Truly, I am blessed. The Serpent's Path will tell you what you need to know for now. After that, the Council awaits. After that, I will be at the temple as I always am. And I will offer counsel as I would to any of the Promised. It has served more than one purpose for our people over the generations. For a brief time, it was home. But then, in his wisdom, Jinan Varun saw fit to turn it into a way for those outside House Varun to begin to learn, to join us in following the Great Serpent. That ended after the Serpent's crusade. It feels right to see it used again now, in our time of need. Farewell. The path lies before you, but it is up to you to walk it. You must walk the path. I am merely here to guide you along your way. Let the Great Serpent forever guide you. Before House Varun, there were humans. First on Earth, then scattered among the stars. And like all humans, they were lost souls, wandering in the dark, looking for a path. One particular colony ship housed several hundred of these souls. They were each alone and isolated, individual tiny flames that could be snuffed out at a moment's notice. But Jinan Varun encountered the Great Serpent and was given the gift of knowledge. He shared his knowledge with those around him and lit the way for them. They followed his guidance and his light, and they cast aside the burdens of their former lives. And thus, House Va'ruun was born. Now you too have the chance to cast aside your burdens, to relieve yourself of anything that holds you back. The people's hopes and fears and dreams were entrusted to the Great Serpent. They made the leap of faith that brought House Va'ruun to greatness. You may now follow in their footsteps and take that same leap. Embrace the Great Serpent, and he will embrace you. The people of House Va'ruun settled this world, at first in these very caves. Shinan Va'ruun himself slept among them in these shelters. It was here that he spread the word of the Serpent. It was here that the people of House Va'ruun first understood the truth of their place in the universe. And it was here that the people of House Va'ruun first understood the truth of the shrouding. The Great Serpent's return. He will encircle the universe he created, and all those who do not follow will be cast into shadow. And the people weighed this knowledge against their former lives, and saw how they had been blessed despite the difficult new life that awaited them. You too will do well to feel that solace amidst the pain. Until that day comes, we are the voice and the hands of the Great Serpent. Our every act a sacrifice to hasten his return. Make now a sacrifice to prove your devotion. And remember, whether in life or in death, all must serve. Let us begin the final ritual. While none since Jinan Varun have stood before the Great Serpent, we can all feel his presence. To solidify his bond, you are presented to simple choice. Before you on this dais are several items. They represent different aspects of House Varun's connection to the Great Serpent. Pick the two that call to you. Place them on the altars. Offerings to the Great Serpent that he may fill you with his spirit and make you promise.
Soon. Could we talk? I'm here for you, should you need me.
And so you arise, one of the promised of House Varun. Did you feel the Great Serpent working within you? Do you feel born anew? Through strength and perseverance, House Varun will triumph over all that stands in its way. I grant you the title of Vindicator. All will know you. All will trust you. Above us, in the grand ship morning, jewel of the Varun fleet, the High Council awaits your arrival. Serve the Great Serpent. All must serve. You have walked the path, and now may walk among the promised. Yes, its final resting place is directly above, very near where it first set down on this moon. It was Jinan Varun's guidance that led us to this precise spot where he knew there would be temporary shelter waiting. And after the Serpent's crusade, when the morning was damaged and would fly no more, it was only fitting that it return to this location. You are promised. You are one of us. All should treat you as an equal. As the first converts in a very long time, it is a very particular honor at that. For the moment, the Council is awaiting your arrival. Go on and continue to fulfill your holy purpose.
I am glad we have a moment. I am having trouble maintaining my composure. Finding myself in Dazra has been overwhelming. That is a complicated question. No. I was not. After everything that we have been through recently, I worried I might never see this place again. For that I am grateful. If only this were just about me. The Great Serpent has always demanded much of us, as individuals, and as the whole of House Varun. But to see what has transpired here, It is hard to believe this is part of any plan. Truly, it is a disaster. I suppose that is true. Regardless, now that we are here, surely you must agree that we should do everything we can to help House Va'ruun. And I appreciate that. It is an incredible commitment you have made to become one of the promised. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined such a thing. I am not sure, but what might have been does not matter. You are one of us now. I suppose that is true. All the same, I am glad to count you among us. I know we have much to do, but I did not want to leave it unsaid. Thank you.
Did you need something?
You will speak with me?
Good to see you.
Welcome, Vindicator. You stand before what remains of the High Council, advisors to Anasco Va'ruun. We are all that is left after the disaster that has befallen our people. I represent House Dul'Kehf. Jamal is from House Kadik, and we are joined by Lovek of House Veth'aal. We are, all of us, hopeful that your arrival in Dazra and your clear connection to Anasco Va'ruun, for the first time in weeks, represent some semblance of hope. Collectively, we unite under the banner of House Va'ruun, pledged to follow Jinan Va'ruun and his descendants. But our society is not a monolith. Jinan, in his wisdom, shepherded the first of us into families that we might grow and prosper. Our 3 families have for generations now helped to govern the people of House Va'ruun and offer counsel to our leader. I understand. Until you were one of us, we could not trust you.
By all means, Malabor. I can't wait to see how you spin this.
Please, can we just for a moment...
Can we just for a moment what? Discuss whether or not to allow the first convert to House Va'ruun since before any of us were born? A bit late on that, it seems.
You were not there. You did not see Anasco. It felt different. We have already wasted so much time...
You're correct. I was not there. Because you elected to travel to the spaceport on your own. And then decided this on your own.
Do not waste time with more bickering. Anasco, and by extension House Va'ruun, suffers with every passing moment.
Of course, Lovek. My apologies. Please, Malabor. Do go on.
Anasco Va'ruun, like his father before him, has relied on the teachings of Jinan to guide us. Anasco wondered if perhaps it was time to seek guidance directly from the Great Serpent, and so sought a means of reaching out.
Perhaps he found the teachings inadequate.
Careful, Kadik. You tread on dangerous ground.
I mean nothing by it. We simply were never consulted on the matter and do not know the full motive.
The point is that a series of experiments have taken place over the years, utilizing grav drive technology to hopefully make direct contact with the Great Serpent, similar to Jinan Va'ruun's initial meeting.
And then something went wrong.
We do not know what happened. We were not inside the Scaled Citadel at the time.
Had we been, we wouldn't be standing here now. We'd be like the rest of them.
A great tide of energy emanated from the Scaled Citadel and swept across Dasra. Much was destroyed in its wake. Those caught in the blast have been left in a state of confusion, trapped halfway between our universe and the Vortex. The Citadel itself remains in such a state. Right there and yet beyond our reach. We can only assume that the experiment is still running, somehow preventing us from entering the Citadel. We cannot get in, so we cannot stop it. We're beginning to lose hope before you arrived. It has only been a few weeks. There had been efforts to put together some kind of response, some plan. But they had fallen apart. Forgive me, I am no scientist. But as it has been explained to me, what we call the Vortex is the space between universes. Your arrival and your interaction with Anasco shows that he can still be saved. A plan had been devised to access the Citadel, but the work stalled. Clearly, it is time to move forward with it. The current head of our science team, Ekris, should be in Jinan Plaza down below us, towards the Citadel. Tell him about your experience with Anasco, and that work on the morning device must proceed. Good to see you. That depends a great deal on who you ask. Generations ago, we made a decision to pull back from the settled systems. Some amongst us saw that as a mistake, an abandonment of House Va'ruun's true calling. The schism within our people grew until some took it upon themselves to leave, and declare themselves the true descendants of Jinan Va'ruun. They are, of course, factually wrong, and incredibly misguided. Any decision about House Va'ruun is the Speaker's to make, but Jinan Va'ruun in his wisdom saw fit to create the High Council to help advise those decisions. We offer perspectives and opinions that can often contradict one another, which can ultimately help the Speaker to guide our people. Or, at least that is how it was before all this. Now, with the Speaker gone, we have temporarily taken over making decisions in his stead. Once this is all behind us, we can restore the intended order of things. Not long, though it feels like an eternity. Jamal and I had only been a part of the Council for maybe a year before all this, and we were only ever in subordinate roles. It has been quite a challenge to accept this new level of responsibility. Dul'Kehf, on the other hand, has served on the Council for quite a long time. He rarely lets us forget it. He has led House Va'ruun since the death of his father Jarek. He is determined to return House Va'ruun to glory. He believed he was on the cusp of realizing that goal, and now, well, you have seen him. I should perhaps not speak too much of it, but there has been concern that he was lost to us. Your interaction with him gives me hope. If you can hear him, he is not beyond rescue.
What may I do for you? The Council is here, should you require us. Oh, it was breathtaking. A true testament to the will of Jinan Va'ruun and our faith in the Great Serpent. To have started from nothing and to have accomplished so much. I pray to the Serpent that we can someday reclaim all that we have lost. Indeed, Serac was my cousin. I know they were assigned to the Oracle, and Malabor relayed their final report sent by the station. They walk with the Great Serpent now. 87 souls reside with the Great Serpent now. Many were some of the finest scientific minds House Va'ruun had to offer. They will be remembered alongside those we lost here in Dazra. The Oracle's fate will be tabled for a future discussion. We have more important issues at hand. Serac was a respected scientist, dedicated to the Great Serpent. They spent every moment engrossed in their work, a true testament of faith. It was their greatest honor to be selected for the Oracle. Of course. I was outside the city, visiting a friend at his farm. We saw the flash of light from inside, and by the time we made it outside, you know, in that moment, I worried it was my fault. That I had somehow not been faithful enough, that I had not believed. I still find myself worrying that we are being punished, that we have affronted the Great Serpent in some way, and that this is our penance.
Something I can do for you? Yes? Don't take it personally. We have been through so much these last few weeks. The Council is attempting to claw back some semblance of order from the chaos, steer things past this somehow. And then Malabor goes and throws you into the middle of all this without even consulting us. It's just one more breach of a protocol that barely exists anymore. I am over it, I assure you. It is good to have you with us, and we are finally moving forward. No, it's complicated. Jinan Va'ruun himself established the rules. Let me see if I can make it easy for you. The Speaker has supreme authority. He is the voice of the Great Serpent. The houses each handle some function of daily life and are individually run by the elder of the house. Each of the houses also appoints a mediary to the High Council to inform and advise the Speaker. It's a separate position from the elder, with a lesser degree of authority and prestige. Now is hardly the time to be entertaining such thoughts. Perhaps it keeps the Speaker free to concentrate on the larger issues, while allowing us some amount of control over our lives. Serpent guide you.
We will all be lucky to see the end of the year. Well, look who it is. You have made quite a stir, and given the state of things, that is a singular accomplishment. To what do I owe the honor, Vindicator? At the moment, obviously a great deal of nothing. Have the High Council to thank for that. Politics and expedience rarely pair well. Well, well. Progress, at last. Then your arrival is even more momentous than I'd believed. I will spare you much of the technical detail, as I confess that pieces of it I barely understand myself. One cannot help but notice the energy field around the Scaled Citadel. Until we can get through it, we cannot shut down the experiment inside, and it has proved quite impossible to get through. We had the beginnings of a plan to build a makeshift contraption to redirect grav drive energy to see if we could penetrate the barrier, but the project came to a halt. Politics got in the way.
I can imagine that without the Speaker to issue clear directions, things have been difficult.
Every one of the houses needs to contribute, and everyone realized they could potentially use it for leverage. What should have been a cooperative effort turned contentious. Easy decisions became negotiations. And so, construction never began. We have sat here, staring at this disaster as supplies pile up for well over a week now. Serpent help us, it is infuriating. The Council just so happens to represent the three houses under Va'ruun's banner, who are also entrusted with various aspects of running, well, everything. Each of those houses needs to contribute something to the project, so the Council is the final stopgap. Were the Speaker here, he could bypass all of it with a wave of his hand, but, well, you have already seen the state he's in. Indeed. All must serve. I believe I've done enough complaining for now. Time to get to work. If you're here, the Council has likely sent word to the houses that it's time to stop the infighting. I doubt it will be enough. I need to oversee construction here, make sure things are built to specifications. If you could follow up with the houses, that may speed up the process. The first convert in generations. The only one to have heard from the Speaker since the disaster. Oh, I think they will listen. House Veth'aal owes us access codes for the city power grid. It's the only way to guarantee enough power to activate the device. House Kadik was supposed to provide a young scientist named Sahima to help me. She had at least some experience with the original Citadel experiment. No idea why they refused to send her. And Hasmek, the new elder of House Dul'Kehf, he has been distant, guarded. He claims to have vital information about an important component of the experiment, but has withheld it until now. Help me get what we need, and we will see what we can do for the Speaker, and for House Va'ruun. And I may have something that can help you in whatever trials the Serpent puts before you as we navigate this. We have been nearly overwhelmed with all that has happened over the last few weeks, but I have still spent some time doing my own research when I can. These phantoms, the vortex. Fascinating subject, really. If only there were some less disastrous way we could have discovered all this. I know. I have lost friends and colleagues myself. We have encountered several interesting phenomena. First, while the phantoms shift to a fully human form when killed, they often retain small shards that appear to be an almost crystallized version of vortex energy. Second, we have learned that killing the phantoms sometimes causes an even greater disturbance. Horrors, as they have been colloquially termed, can appear from somewhere. We are unsure of their origin, but it is not within our universe. These horrors and their spawn are infested with cysts, a seemingly organic manifestation of vortex energy. We have managed to collect enough to run experiments and have devised a method of combining them into an explosive mixture with varying properties. While they have no use in the development of the morning device, if you find yourself out in the field, I believe they could have more practical applications. Well then, allow me to provide you with a few starting samples. The process is simple enough that any industrial workstation should suffice, if you have the materials. And, depending on how you combine said materials, you may find the results to be somewhat variable. I hope you can use that to your advantage. Not enough to have prevented it from happening. If I had any idea it was going to turn out like this, It had been Inasco's primary goal for some time. A way to recreate Jinan Va'ruun's encounter with the Great Serpent. Everything we knew about grav drive technology, every scientific advancement we'd made in the last 100 years was poured into it. Towards the end, I was just so exhausted. I asked for a brief time off. Had I not, I would be trapped in there with the rest of the science team. Of course not. I left the project weeks before the disaster, and at that point, we were nowhere near ready. Some breakthroughs were made shortly thereafter, and they ran the experiment. And here we are. Just look around. I'm sure you have at least some idea of how much we have physically lost. A huge portion of the city is just gone. And those left behind are struggling. Supplies are limited. There is so much work to be done, and we are all just so tired. I hope that eventually we can return things to the way they were, but we must be realistic. That will take time, and I suspect a great deal of it. Yes, depending on how much trouble you're getting into. We have been nearly overwhelmed with all that has happened over the last few weeks, but I have still spent some time doing my own research when I can. These phantoms, the vortex. Fascinating subject, really. If only there were some less disastrous way we could have discovered all this. I know. I have lost friends. We have encountered several. Second, these horrors and their... We have managed to collect enough. Well, they have no use. The process is simple enough that any industrial workstation should suffice, if you have the materials. And, depending on how you combine said materials, you may find the results to be somewhat variable. I hope you can use that to your advantage.
In the year 2240, House Va'ruun went to war with the settled systems.
My brother
What
lost
has
his
come to be
wife
known
and home
as
in the
the Serpent's
catastrophe.
Crusade.
How can
we
anyone
win?
be the same after that?
Well, the settled systems think they did.
Why did we fight them again?
Jinan Va'ruun believed that he was tasked by the Great Serpent to claim dominion over the galaxy. The Serpent's Crusade was an attempt to make that a reality.
What do you think of the Serpent's Crusade?
What do I think of it?
Yeah, do you think it was...
Yes, child. I know what they meant. And my answer is this. If Jinan Va'ruun decided that the Crusade was necessary, then it was. The Great Serpent told him to do it after all, and we do not question the Great Serpent.
I miss being able to play with my friends. I hope things go back to normal soon.
Everything we have ever worked for, gone in an instant.
No loitering.
There used to be several temples like this. Now, look at this place.
The Great Serpent has filled you with purpose. Is that not beautiful?
Do you seek counsel? The High Council supports the Speaker on matters practical and political. Heralds like myself provide spiritual and philosophical guidance. Together with the Speaker, we work to divine the intent of the Great Serpent and to spread his message to the people of House Va'ruun. And, as time permits, I make myself available to the people of Dazra for the same guidance. I exist to serve, as do we all. It would be a true shame if, in the face of adversity and tragedy, the people turn away from the Great Serpent. In times of crisis, that is where the Great Serpent shows himself most. He guides us to seek community, empowers us to rebuild better and stronger, encourages us to find a newfound faith in him. I pray the people of Dazra see that it is not a time for fear or doubt. It is acceptable to grieve what we have lost, but we must not let that grief poison our minds. It is my hope that people will turn towards and not away from the Great Serpent. Through him, we can rebuild a better Dazra, forged in a blazing fire of faith and community. Of course. Holiest One, Great Serpent, hear our prayer. Fill us with holy purpose, so that we may stand beside you in the void of eternity. Kill all our fears and doubts. Show us that only through you can true peace and contentedness be achieved. All must serve, Go on and continue to fulfill your holy purpose.
I confess, I'm still adjusting to my new role. Hello, Vindicator. Malibor has kept me informed of the situation. The deadlock of the High Council. I hope your presence here means things have changed. I see. I'm pleased that the Council is once again working towards a solution. It felt wrong not to help. Do you know where I was when it happened? The incident, they call it. I was in the temple next door, conversing with my cousin. I was in the middle of replying to him about... you know? I don't even recall. Some meaningless bit of family drama, I am sure. One moment, he was there, and the next, gone. My cousin, the floor, the wall, just gone. I found myself looking out at the scaled citadel, unable to comprehend. And now, here I stand, the elder of House Dul'Kehf. My loss? Yes, I suppose. Although, from an outside perspective, one could consider it a fair trade, given my new role. Perhaps even a gain. I appreciate the sentiment, but we shall never know. You cannot imagine it. A single moment of pure, terrible silence. A meter's distance was all that separated me from whatever has become of Dazra. I find that through all the chaos and the scrambling since, my mind drifts back to that moment. I could be gone as well. But here I remain, spared. And I do not know why. Hopefully you can deliver them from this. But what comes after? What about the next trial? I'm sorry. I should shoulder my own burdens, not force them upon you. I've grown so tired of the Council squabbling, and I want no further part in it. I have no demands, no requests. All must serve. And House Dul'Kehf is no exception. An attempt was made, but I admit it was not as forceful as it should have been. It was clear it was going to fall on deaf ears. Here is what I can tell you. Sometime before our current calamity, Enesco Varun approached me looking for information about his grandfather's time. He was frustrated at the lack of progress. House Dul'Kehf keeps extensive records, you see. While I was never told the exact reason behind the inquiry, I was able to deduce a fair amount. I provided him with the shipping manifests from the time of the Serpent's crusade, materials and equipment that suggested some highly specialized research. I told Enesco where those materials had been sent. Weeks later, well, you've seen the Citadel. You know as well as any where we are now. I believe so. Yes. Anasco returned from the site in unusually good spirits. He boasted of something called the Vortex Interlock, and that it was the key to unlocking some new unseen potential. Whatever records exist of this interlock were swallowed up with the Citadel. And as for the original site, executors were sent, but did not return. And we can spare no more casualties. So I suggest you visit Malin Dam to the southeast. I believe it is more than it seems. It is the only place to learn more about these vortex interlocks and what connection they may have to the events at the Citadel. And should your search be fruitful, make sure it is known that House Dul'Kehf was proud to serve when called upon. I hope you find something useful at the dam. I'm afraid the details have been scrubbed from the records at the time of construction. That in itself should be enough to pique anyone's interest. As I said, records that are left, referring to that construction, I have overseen my share of projects. I know what materials are necessary. And I know when the deliveries far exceed the needs of what should be a simple industrial project. House Va'ruun depends on trade, internal and external, just like any civilization. The ministry facilitates and oversees that trade. Jinan Va'ruun himself established the houses and charged us with this responsibility. We pride ourselves on a job well done.
The Great Serpent will provide, but on his own time, it seems.
As of very recently, I am the Elder. I am ultimately responsible for all of House Dul'Kehf, and by association, the Ministry of Commerce. It has been an abrupt transition for me, given all that is going on. I imagine it will be some time before I feel settled in. No one in Dazra is okay right now. We're all doing the best we can in the face of terrible circumstances. The people of House Va'ruun, those that are left, need our efforts now more than ever. That is my primary concern.
You can't get in there, not unless you have a card. So, you're trying to get in there? You're not the first person to come here recently, you know? Anasco Va'ruun himself was here. I saw him, but he didn't talk to me. And there were too many other people around him. They all looked really serious. I heard he disappeared. Is that true? I never saw him come back out of the dam. But I did see them go in. They had cards that let them open the door. I found one after they'd left. I thought about using it, but I didn't want to get in trouble. Kavil said I should give it to him for safekeeping. So I did. Maybe he'll let you have it. Okay, good luck.
would ask for news of the city, but I think I prefer not to know. Another day, another mouthful of seaweed. May the Great Serpent bless us. In comparison to some, hardly any time at all. I stumbled upon this place a few years back, and they were so desperate for help. I offered my services, they accepted, and here we are. I suspect, given my age, that my story will likely end here. At least, until the Great Serpent decides what to do with me after. I am not sure I have liked anywhere, to be honest. The work is predictable, not too taxing, and Gamera lets me get away with less than others might. I could do worse. The aches and pains of old age would follow me no matter where I go. And if I could just get a good night's sleep, I would find all this quite acceptable. Goodness, no. Not a decent night's sleep in years, at least that I can recall. The aforementioned aches and pains at first, but over time I find my dreams drift towards something dark. The product of an anxious mind with too many years. Think nothing of it. Why would you care about the meaningless dreams of an old man? And are you one of them? I have this dream where I am a ghost, haunting long-abandoned halls. There are others, and we are trapped for eternity, doomed to roam this corner of the world of the living. I fear I shall never see the Great Serpent. Perhaps it simply means I worry I have not done enough with my life. Perhaps I'm not getting enough vitamins. No offense, but it's not your property.
The ownership of the card is far less important than its use.
Be that as it may, I feel it should be turned over to the proper authorities. If security came looking for it, or someone from the Speaker's office, yes, of course I would tell them. Well, there are clearly more important things for the people of Dazra to deal with right now.
You know that all must serve Kavil. Right now, handing over that keycard. That is how you best serve the Great Serpent.
I only wish to serve, I swear. You are right, though. Here, take it.
I wish more people would move in. It's too quiet around here. Father says the Great Serpent watches over us all the time. I'm not worried. Besides, no one ever comes around here anymore anyways. Not much. Just looking around, mostly. I used to try and find scrap to sell, but I don't think there's any left at this point. I like the view too, and it's nice to just get away from the farm sometimes. I guess? It's the only place I've ever lived. Father says we have to make do with what the Great Serpent provides, so we do.
Clearly, this was occupied at one time. Now, though, we seem to be all alone.
You are not welcome here. You will leave immediately. This is your only warning. I guard these halls with my brothers and sisters, until the shrouding. None are allowed here, including you. I do not care what you think you need. Jinan Varun himself charged us with the protection of this facility. It was his last order, and it will be carried out. But it seems you are not hearing me. You have no right to be here. The work done here must be safeguarded, protected, never permitted to leave. None but the Speaker may decide otherwise. And you are not the Speaker.
We should move on. There's nothing worth taking.
Speaker, please, do not get too close. Do not fear. They know who I am. You do, yes? I can see it. You know me. I am Inesco Varun, Speaker for the Great Serpent.
Yes, Speaker. We know. We serve. We have always served.
And your service is commended. Are you all that remain of this place?
Jinan Varun himself bade us guard these halls for all time. Others left. We remain.
Very well. You, get to work. Yes, of course, sir. At once. You heard the Speaker. Every terminal, every data log, every cable and component. I want it all inspected and a full report within the hour.
You were warned. You did not listen. There is not. The Speaker's orders will be carried out. You must die.
Something may be nearby.
Here they are.
You would be rid of me so easily. The arrogance!
It would seem this will be more challenging than we anticipated.
The work done here has tied us to this place for all time. That is why we have agreed to guard it.
Sister, have you not finished this game? You should have heeded Courageous words in the beginning, little one. This is no place for you.
It would also seem that I spoke too soon.
The outcome has not changed, Veth'aal. We are still in control here. I have my orders, and I will follow them. Do you even understand why you are here? What it is you are looking for? This seems a fool's errand. He sought the same as you. Information. Inspiration. Though, he did not have to work so hard for it. I am sworn to obey the Speaker. You should have left when you had the chance.
You've met your match.
Always worth checking. Never know what you might find in their pockets.
And you are sure? We need the object itself?
Yes, Speaker. These vortex interlocks are complicated devices. We could recreate them from schematics we have recovered, but that would take time.
My brothers and sisters and I, we are bound to the pods. The pods are powered by the interlocks. We move them and you kill us.
Yes, I understand. But you are sworn to serve, are you not?
We are, Speaker. All must serve.
Then what better service than to facilitate contact with the Great Serpent himself? Your sacrifice will bring about a new era for House Va'ruun.
As the Great Serpent wills.
We will begin extraction at once. Then we should have everything we need to upgrade the equipment at the Citadel. You have the interlock, Speaker, and the sum total of the data gathered is on the slates in your possession.
Well, then I have all I came for. It is time to leave. You, Phantom. One final order awaits you.
We exist to serve, Speaker.
I know you do. My grandfather insisted this place remain secret. Known only to him. Known only to the Speaker. No one else.
As the Speaker wills it.
Sir, please. Have we not done all that was asked?
Oh, you and your team have served well. But your service to me is at an end. Now you shall serve the Great Serpent directly.
Do you not grow weary of this? I assure you, it will not end. You simply do not listen. How disappointing. We cannot be defeated in combat. You are the one with the power to change this, either by turning around or dying.
This is turning into a most exhilarating exercise.
All this noise over one little trespasser. Let us be done with this already.
The experiments here have ensured our resilience. We endure because it has been ordered of us. House Va'ruun's return to greatness begins with the work done here. And until that time comes, we will keep it safe. They are not yours to have. Power grid destabilized. Containment fields failure. Backup systems risk overload. Consider manual shutdown at the earliest convenience. You utter fool! Do you have any idea what you have done? Oh, you are so very clever. More so than Anasco's entourage. Those interlocks power our pods. You have killed Veth'aal. What is more, you have disrupted the flow of power within the dam. You are one step from dooming those farmers on the surface. All right, hero. You have proven yourself a commendable opponent. But now, you have a choice to make. If you can remove the remaining interlock, you will have bested us. But you will ruin the lives of those above us. Or we can continue this contest of wills and see which of us is stronger. The choice is yours. But we do. My dedication to the Great Serpent demands my obedience to his Speaker's orders.
Best not to leave anything useful behind.
Power failure. Dam function compromised. Emergency evacuation protocols enacted. Please exit the facility.
House Malin are many things, but rarely liars. I hope we have not made the situation worse.
This farm is the only place I have ever known. Now I have nothing. My whole life drowned.
We have done enough here. We should go.
Have we offended the Great Serpent so? Dazra was not enough?
Having a best friend is still a concept I am getting used to, but I do quite like it. What do you mean? I see. I wondered when we might have this conversation. I have not been oblivious to your comments, you know. Though occasionally I wondered if I was seeing something that was not there. But if you mean it, my feelings are not so different from yours. We must be clear on one thing from the very beginning. I do not share. If you are mine, then you are mine alone. No one else will come between us. If that is not a commitment you are willing to make, I understand, but I will not compromise. Oh, I am quite certain. Do not doubt my intent. Then truly nothing can stop us. We will be a force to be reckoned with. You have brought a joy to my life that I could not have imagined, and could never have expected. With you at my side, love, I look forward to everything that comes next.
I'm triple-checking all calculations. We can't get this wrong. You do not understand. I saw a Nazco, took measure of his burdens.
What you are describing is a dream, nothing more.
Not a dream. A message from the Great Serpent himself.
With all due respect to your craft, dear sister, now is not the time for incense and ash leaves. Do you not see the depth of the crater before you?
On the contrary, brother. I see it for what it truly is. And if we ignore this vision, Anasco will be lost to us forever.
Enough with the proselytizing. The Vindicator has returned. I am old and my eyesight is not what it used to be, but I know the face of success when I see it. Your lead from House Dul'Kehf paid off. I did not, but it does not surprise me. So many projects over the decades. So many secrets. So few successes. I have heard of such a thing. Recently, in fact, just before the accident. That is apparently not a coincidence. We do not need it for the device, but if this accounts for some of the leaps in progress in the Citadel, you may wish to hold on to it. As much as I have devoted my life to science, one cannot deny that there is an occasional spark of the divine. The Great Serpent has use for this. And you, still to come. Now we await the assistance of Houses Veth'aal and Kadik. Let us hope we do not wait long.
Politics can wait. Every moment we delay, Anasco descends further into the void.
For the last time, faith will not remove the barrier. Science will.
It is the hubris of science that failed you in this moment. We reached out to the Great Serpent. This is his reply.
You claim he has forsaken us?
I do no such thing. The Great Serpent's reply is not an answer, but a question. Are we worthy of his grace? Until that is proven, your works will not succeed. To be promised requires more than just faith. This calamity is one test of many we will endure until the shrouding. Just as wine is born from the blood of a grape, our lives are a trial. We must spill our souls before the Great Serpent and countenance his judgment.
It sounds like you agree with me.
And yet, only one is the foundation for the other. But the proof is not in our words. It is in the vision. Anasco's presence still persists in this world, and he seeks our aid.
Fine. I feel like I've lived this argument 1,000 times, and the only way to move past it is to concede to its nonsense. Vindicator, speak to my sister. Agree to her fool's errand so that we may continue the work of saving this city.
Your life, your purpose, has been forever changed.
My sister is stubborn, bordering on obstinate. Sadly, we have no choice but to yield to her request. Of course. We agree on most things, actually. Save the one. And before you label me a heretic, it's not the power of the divine or the breadth of his influence that I question. It's simply the manner in which he wields it that is a point of contention. I think it's foolishness, but not nearly as foolish as trying to convince her of this fact.
Do you hear it? The Great Serpent speaks to you, guides you. I have seen visions of Anasco, searching for one bold enough to enter the heart of the vortex. And now that you are here, I know your arrival was no accident, but rather providence. The Great Serpent has guided you here. From the moment you found the Oracle to the words I speak to you now. Well put. The Great Serpent's works are imperceptible, even to heralds like myself. But rest assured, all will be revealed when you journey north. At the edge of the crater, you will find a cave carved by the anomaly. There, you will make contact with Anasco Va'ruun.
It would be unwise to ignore the Herald's counsel.
The Great Serpent has blessed me with the sight, and I have seen events there that are only now beginning to take shape. It is as the Great Serpent foretold. In my visions, I witnessed two futures. In the first, you breached the scaled citadel, but found Anasco had sunk too far into the void. And in time, all of Dazra was consumed along with him. The anomaly spread, absorbing all in its path. The crater you see now is nothing compared to the destruction looming ahead. Indeed, but there is another path. In the second future, I saw you make contact with Anasco, entering a cave through a formless wall. At its terminus was a gate, a path into the realm where our speaker resides. You stepped into this void, and in that moment, something changed. The false future, rewritten.
Roughly speaking, it could be that entering the vortex directly would allow you to speak with him. And while my readings do not show any anomalous activity, I admit there's a lot of interference. Still, That only emphasizes the potential danger involved here. I cannot approve of such an excursion on the minute chance Anasco is present. Not in the way you and I speak, but in crude terms, yes. Provided you manage to maintain your own sanity through the process. But this is all purely theoretical. No one has ever entered the vortex and come back. The closer one ventures to the heart of the anomaly, the closer they are to the phantoms and horrors that lie within. Moreover, if this cave was cut open by the calamity itself, then it is an unnatural formation and highly unstable. I am no heretic, but to risk so much on a vision, it is a leap of faith I cannot condone. I will not stand in your way, however, as Inaza has stood in ours.
You may not realize it now, dear brother, but our goals are one and the same. No, it was born from the incident itself, but I believe it is there. And what is faith but to give form to the formless? As a herald, it is my duty to make real what is unseen. It was a winding cave, scattered with walls of dark energy. At the end, a rip in the fabric of reality. In my vision, I saw you step forward, slowly, following the sound of Anasco's voice. I could hear him calling to you in the distance. His words were jumbled, but as you drew closer, they started to assemble. I was thrust out of the vision before I could see the end. Then you must embark to the northern edge of the crater. You will find an entrance there, one that has no form. Step through it, find Anasco, and complete the vision. Only then will his voice be heard. Go to the cave in my vision, near the edge of the crater. If my vision is true, you will find him there. My scrying ability has always been limited, but potent. Rarely am I blessed with a vision, but when I am, they are decisive. It often depends on the herald. Some spend their whole life sorting through visions. Others may only get one in a lifetime. It is an unnatural thing. A hollow space dug into the backbone of the world. And the horrors that call it home do so for a reason. I take no comfort in asking you to make this journey. It is only because I understand its importance that I do. Let the Great Serpent forever guide you.
It is a beautiful
And just what
day,
is
huh?
on your mind at this moment? I know that tone. Very well. What is it? Thank you, dearest. You are not so bad yourself. There are no words that would do it justice. You just make everything better. Truly? You mean it? You continue to surprise and amaze me. I am at a loss for words. There is, quite literally, nowhere I would rather be. What you and I have, it is so unique, so wonderfully unexpected. I do not think any standard practice, Barun or otherwise, would do it justice. I need some time to consider what official might mean, what would do it justice. But do not mistake that for hesitation. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I will not let you go for a moment.
Have you abandoned me, Great Serpent? Do you not hear my pleas? You understand me? Hear my voice? But I do not know you, even if you are promised. I hesitate to ask, but what manner of being are you? Do you truly serve his will? Yes, he works through you and built the path to guide you to me. I have reached out so many times to hear nothing but echoes. Yet you, an outsider, hear me plain. And for the first time, I hear you. Clearly your arrival here is fated. By stepping into this void, we are now linked. There is still reason to hope. The Great Serpent will see us through. But time is short. The breach collapses. The gate is still open. The experiment still runs. Find me in the Scaled Citadel. I will wait for you there.
I heard the news of Ukaru's death. We lost many to the cataclysm. To lose another is disheartening. I am aware of the situation. Now is hardly the time. We need to focus on what may yet happen, not things that have already transpired and cannot be changed. Should we manage to resolve the current situation, the Council will address your concern.
What an honor it was to aid you on your path to become one of the promised. You return. What news do you have of Anasco? Then my vision did not betray me.
Well, it would seem I owe you an apology, sister.
There is no need, brother. Your skepticism only strengthens us.
As you say. But, to the matter at hand, did Anasco mention anything that could aid us in his extraction? Then we must continue our work on the morning device. But it is comforting to have confirmation. And if you've spoken to him once, it's not out of the realm of possibility you could do it again.
It is much more than that. Normally when I pray for Anasco's return, I sense he is lost, fading. But when I last prayed to the Great Serpent, I felt Anasco's presence clear and distinct. Even as it receded, I felt him anchored to this world. Yes, there are some who suggest that when Jinan communed with the Great Serpent, a similar bond had been established. I believe the same is true for you and Anasco.
I would need time to attempt a scientific explanation for why or how this happened, but for now, let us assume my sister is correct.
And that is the essence of faith. I do not know what lies ahead. My visions do not go beyond this point. But I do know this link will play a role. In fact, I am certain of it.
Agreed. And with this settled, we can now continue the work of aligning the noble houses. Together, we will find a way to complete the morning device. Our fate lies in the morning device. It must be completed. Ah, were you able to find Sahima? Theoretically, yes. The science is sound, especially with Sahima's numbers. Either way, we have no choice but to take the risk of failure, as small as it may be. Whatever Anasco did inside the Citadel remains unchecked, and we are all at risk until we can get inside. Perfect. I have no doubt Sahima's work is the key to stabilizing the morning device. If only the others had listened to her, we may not have lost so much of our great city. This leaves House Veth'aal. I pray they are cooperative. There's no telling how much time we have. And before I forget, I've been told to inform you that the Council has now granted you access to the armory in the keep. Seems they're pleased with your work.
Progress on the device is welcome. It is good the device looks ready. Let us hope it has not been built too hastily. We need this to work.
If this doesn't work, Serpent save us. Ah, did Victor finally relinquish the access code? We're almost there. So I'm hoping you have the final key to unlocking the morning device's true potential. The power grid access is the last thing we need. Excellent. We'll finally have the resources to fully charge the morning device. Now, give me a moment to set up the grid. Inputting the access code. Routing power. It is done. Vindicator, will you do us the honor? All personnel to stations. Clear the platform.
Activating power grid interlink.
Powering grav drive.
Field projector. Standing by.
Extending stabilizers.
Grav field stable.
Capacitors fully charged.
All stations reporting. Ready to proceed with targeting.
Targeting system engaged.
Calibrating lens array.
Adjusting counterweights.
Locking axial depth. Device is in position.
It's time. On your mark. Fire!
Shelters the shell of the world.
Focus.
Beam on target.
Compensating
Power draw
for
exceeding
recoil.
capacity.
It is working. Steady.
Attempting to stabilize both. Graviton.
Fluctuation. Grav field.
Hold! We cannot fail this speaker now.
Rerouting power.
Burning out. Enough! Shut it down!
Cutting power.
Grav drive cycling down.
Zero point.
Tracking stabilizers.
Shutdown complete.
Clear! Well done, all. Well done. We have done all we can. I am sure the Council is waiting to speak with you. Sohima's research and algorithm have proven to be even more vital than I estimated.
I have been thinking about us as a couple? I am not sure of the terminology. Our relationship, let us say. It is, and I am thankful for you every day. You and I come from such different backgrounds. We have shared experiences, and you are now of the promised, but still. I was sent out into the settled systems with a specific mission. One that came with a great many expectations. Not the least of which was that I would remain wholly committed to that mission. Not to anything or anyone else. No, not at all. I am just... I am trying to explain all that is going through my head. That was never part of the plan, no. And yet, here we are. But this is a situation I was not supposed to be in. On top of already revealing my past to you, which I was never supposed to do. That is not the type of thinking that comes naturally to me. I just hate to think of anything coming between us, whether now or in the future. But you are right. I need to focus on what is in front of me now. Not something I have no control over. Thank you for talking me through this. It only serves to remind me how much you mean to me. How deeply I care about you. Really? You continue to surprise and amaze me. I am at a loss for words. There is, quite literally, nowhere I would rather be. What you and I have, it is so unique, so wonderfully unexpected. I do not think any standard practice, Va'ruun or otherwise, would do it justice. I need some time to consider what official might mean, what would do it justice. But do not mistake that for hesitation. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I will not let you go for a moment.
We place our faith in the Serpent and in you.
I was not certain this would work, but it seems the Serpent has blessed us.
You have always lacked faith, Dul'Kehf.
One could argue that faith got us into this mess in the first place.
Enough. It is time for action, not bickering.
Agreed. We must secure the Citadel. Send in everyone.
Are you mad? We have no idea how stable this is. No idea what is happening inside. You saw yourself. We barely had a plan for the device. We are lucky to have made it this far.
I disagree. Committing a large force is impossible. There have been reports of increased zealot activity, no doubt in response to what we have been doing here.
It would be unwise to leave Dazra even more vulnerable than it already is.
And, to be candid, we have no idea what will happen to anyone entering the Citadel. We must minimize the potential risk. I thought perhaps it was obvious where this leads. To do so would condemn at least our speaker, and perhaps all in Dazra.
Really? I do not doubt our newest member's conviction, but...
What else can we do? He is the only one who can communicate with Anasco. Save as much as you can. Save it all, if possible, but the speaker must be your priority. Do whatever it takes to bring Anasco back to us. I do not believe we have come this far only to fail now. You must believe that as well.
It will be nothing short of the highest honor. We will not fail.
We will speak again soon, I hope.
It seemed fitting, necessary even, that we should be present.
The hour is at hand. Dazra is nearly saved.
you're really here. Oh, I feared what I saw. That connection we made was yet another vision. This is real, is it not? See you? Yes, of course. So much has been unclear, but here in the Citadel, I am more focused. I knew the Serpent would deliver me from this nightmare, but there must be some way out. Every time I have attempted to leave this place, I find myself lost, wandering, unable to see. There is nothing out there. Tell me, what of Dazra? The people of House Va'ruun? I have had terrible visions, a dreadful sense of loss. Your loyalty is noted, and indeed appreciated. I cannot help but mourn all that we have lost. All that I have caused. You must believe me. We meant none of this. All of the research, the calculations, we thought we could contain it. I only ever wanted to help, to improve, to elevate House Va'ruun. Oh, I would like nothing more, but I'm afraid it is not that simple. The chain reaction that started, it is self-sustaining. We tried everything. We had hoped we could complete the experiment, but then the vortex interlock burned out. You have one, don't you? I can feel the power from here. Then the Serpent truly has sent you to us. I wish I could guarantee your safety, but I am graced by the Serpent and have retained my faculties. So many of my people were not as fortunate. You will have no choice but to deal with them. The reactor level is below us. Bring the interlock there. We will need it if we wish to see this through.
Can we speak for a moment? Before I say anything else, I wanted to thank you for giving me time. When I first came here, I never expected that I would meet you or feel this way about you. That we would end up here together. There is no precedent for any of this. A romantic relationship not within the bounds of Va'ruun culture, I mean. I wanted to attempt to honor that culture nonetheless. I know, and I love you for that. The point I am trying to get to is that I believe I have an idea, a way I can demonstrate my commitment to you. The Grots have been through enough, I think. The Heralds likely would not approve, but they do not need to. I do not think we need someone to tell us what we already know about ourselves. I do not think some official makes what we have any more real. No, I do not think we do. I was hoping that would be your response. This is between you and me, and no one else. You know who I am. I do not need to explain myself to you as I would to others. They might not understand, and I do not want that distraction. I want to be able to focus on us. So, as soon as you are ready, I want us to travel together to the second planet in the Shosa system. There's something we need to do there.
As I said, a new vortex interlock is needed. The reactor must be stabilized before we can proceed. I could not say for certain. When this is all behind us, we will need time to review the data and prevent it from happening again. There is no question that the failure of our vortex interlock caused much of the instability. Beyond that, I would need to consult with our scientists, and I'm afraid that many of them have been lost. And not by itself, but the experiment at the pinnacle cannot be completed until the power is stabilized. Once it is done, then we can finish what we began and set everything as it should be. We did not anticipate that we might have erred in our recreation of the vortex interlock, or that we could overload it. Finally, it is time. Come, see what you have helped to save. With all that has gone wrong, all we have sacrificed, I confess I had lost hope. I grew up hearing stories of my grandfather's communion with the Great Serpent, the immense responsibility he was given to create and guide House Veth'aal. By the time I became Speaker and inherited that responsibility, so much had changed. The once proud glory of House Veth'aal was diminished. We had lost our way, and I alone could not discern a path forward. I required the Great Serpent's guidance once more. So, I set out to find him. If the fate of your entire people was in your hands, would you do any less? At first, I thought so too. And I despaired. I learned that my grandfather had attempted something similar. I found reassurance in that idea that he, too, sought additional instruction from the Serpent. And over time, I began to see that the Great Serpent had indeed left a path for me, hidden amongst the experimental failures and setbacks. This vortex, the place between places, and the energy it holds could be harnessed, refined, directed. But we are so close. We are on the precipice of greatness. Utilizing the vortex energy, We have learned that we can create powerful warriors, capable of teleporting vast distances in an instant. The brave volunteers in this room await the chance to be the first wave of soldiers, loyal to the Great Serpent and our cause. House Va'ruun can project force on a scale unimaginable in the history of the human race. Jinan Va'ruun's mandate can be fulfilled. The Serpent's crusade can begin anew. Despite all that has happened, their life support system has remained stable. Just one more sign from the Great Serpent that we are following his will. And now, the glorious honor falls to you, my faithful servant. Activate the pods. Carry out the Serpent's will, and begin House Va'ruun's triumph! Please, I have waited so long for this. Just activate the pods. Well, surely you can see that I am unable, or else I would have done it by now. And I think it fitting that the Great Serpent has led you this far, to now allow you to be the one to restore House Va'ruun to greatness. You yourself must have encountered the Phantoms in Maleen Dam. You know how formidable yet limited their abilities were. The Va'ruun soldiers suspended within these pods are an improvement on all of that prior work. Activate the system, and they will be suffused with vortex energy, making them nearly invulnerable, giving them almost unlimited engagement range. They will be proof that House Va'ruun's ascent to glory has begun. None will be able to deny it. What other choice do we have? The heathens and heretics loathe our very existence already. Why not be what they expect? By finishing what Jinan Va'ruun started, we fulfill our duty to prepare the way for the Great Serpent. And none will ever again dare mock or belittle us. Why would we reject the perfect opportunity when the Great Serpent has so clearly placed it within our grasp? He calls us to act, and we must answer that call. Killed them all! You think you can override the will of the Great Serpent? You pledged yourself to House Va'ruun, but you are like all the rest. Weak of will, short of sight, a betrayer. And in the end, you have changed nothing! There will always be one more willing to serve, and once I have restored the Citadel, I will find them and send them out into the settled systems. Zealots! Of course they would attempt to poison this, as they do all things. They will not stop me. The work will be completed now! Come then, all of you! Ascend the Citadel, or squabble amongst yourselves. I will await you at the pinnacle. attempts to meddle, you have nonetheless served your part in the Serpent's plan. Neither you nor the Zealots will disrupt our achievement now. The gate will cycle one more time, shifting the Citadel into the vortex. You and those bothersome Zealots trapped inside will be cast into the void forever. And I will carry on the crusade myself. It cannot be stopped. It cannot be shut down. It, like the Great Serpent himself, is inevitable.
Bring up another heretic.
Cast
Slowly, slowly.
I told you he
been
would
through
make
a
it.
lot. I cannot believe it. The Citadel is gone. There is no sign of Anasco. You failed. You brought us no scrap of hope for the future? Then I suppose you are fortunate.
No one standing in this room right now is fortunate. We have no speaker, no citadel. Where is Anasco? Then truly, we are lost. Without Anasco, there is no speaker. There is no way forward.
Perhaps. Or perhaps we acknowledge a simple truth. We are currently the government. We decide what happens from here.
You would dare speak of treason? Heresy!
I speak of survival.
Please, calm down, both of you.
This is not a time to be calm or sit idly by. This is a time for action. We, the three of us, are the High Council. All of House Va'ruun looks to us for guidance. We should provide it. Indeed, we will. So we should name one. Right now.
That is not within our power.
But Lovek, it can be. We can decide that right here, right now. We can carve a path forward for House Va'ruun. Or else, we can sit by and watch all that we have built crumble around us.
And what assurance do I have that the two of you are not just looking to usurp power for yourselves?
Then we let the Vindicator decide. And we have a herald here as witness.
An amusing thought, but no. Try again. Then so it shall be. House Va'ruun moves forward from this crisis and continues to serve the Great Serpent.
All must serve.
Before you adjourn, is there not one matter more to address?
I do not understand. To what do you refer?
To the matter of the Serpent's crusade, of course. The Vindicator knows of what I speak.
I don't understand. The crusade was ages ago. What does that have to do with any of this?
Explain the meaning of this at once.
After all this time, and we knew nothing of this. The Council was never consulted.
To be fair, it has never been necessary for the Speaker to consult the Council. It is his decision to make.
There is nothing more to discuss. If the Speaker calls for crusade, then we answer.
I can assure you all that he did indeed believe in it.
Then House Veth'aal agrees. The crusade begins. What does House Dul'Kehf say?
I have no wish to defy the Speaker, but he is no longer here. The Va'ruun people need time. House Dul'Kehf declines.
No, I should have expected as much. And what does House Cadik say?
Both of my colleagues have made valid points. The matter is complicated. I believe that for the moment, House Cadik abstains.
So, one vote for, one against. And what about you? Should we take up the sword and fight for House Va'ruun, or continue to cower here and pity ourselves?
Consider what you are about to say very carefully.
Yes, of course. Such an immense decision can only benefit from discussion. There are no innocent people. If you are not promised, then you will be cast into shadow. Jinan Varum was very clear. I am. Jinan Varun himself began the original Serpent's Crusade, and it is long past time that we return to it. We cannot share this universe with heretics.
We have only just survived the most terrible period in the last few decades. We need at least a moment to breathe, to feel some sense of relief. We are hardly in a position to begin any sort of major military operation, both in terms of provisions and strategic positioning. But if it is the will of the Council, of course, House Dul'Kehf will commit fully.
It seems the prudent choice at the moment. House Khadik will, of course, accept the judgment of the Council no matter the decision. But to be candid, I do not wish to be the deciding vote in such a monumental decision.
There is no question that we will have to start with limited engagements. For now, we strike where we can, make it deadly to travel among the stars. We put fear back into the settled systems, where it belongs. You know how these things go. If we do not decide now, word will get out. It always does. Then we will have to deal with even more disarray. It is best that we control the narrative immediately. Then do we begin the crusade? So be it.
And with all of this out of the way, we will take our leave. You have been through a great deal and deserve a chance to rest. The home, of course, is yours. You deserve a place among us after everything. Know that House Varun is eternally grateful for all that you have done, and that the Great Serpent will one day grant you a place by his side.
Quorum has been achieved. State your proposals.
Continuing on from a previous discussion, let us discuss the state of the refugee camp.
As the House in charge of employment, the Ministry of State continues to monitor the situation and fill needs where necessary.
At a speed that is not acceptable. The conditions there are brutal. We must do what we can to ameliorate them.
With all due respect, Mediary, we cannot fit square pegs into a round hole. A farmer cannot serve where a mechanic is required.
Then train them. Don't sit on your hands and do nothing.
And how much time will that take? Not to mention there's no guarantee these people are even capable.
Perhaps the issue can be resolved by casting a wider net. Find additional areas of need where individuals can assist. A farmer cannot be a mechanic, but they can hand one a wrench.
As you command, Speaker.
Moving on, let us proceed to the next item on the agenda.
I'd like to bring up the subject of immigration. As you all know, we have agents all across the settled systems, which include people from outside Va'ruun Kai. It's my belief that many of these people would be willing to serve House Va'ruun and become promised.
There is precedence given recent events, and additional hands are very much needed.
I strongly disagree. Our city is in a state of chaos, and you would bring our enemies to our front door? No, I cannot abide.
They would be closely vetted and their behavior monitored. In fact, you can do it personally, Midir. Unless you doubt the Ministry of State's capability to do so.
House Veth'aal will do its duty, as it always has.
Without committing, I'll say that the bar for citizenship will be much higher than the one for smugglers and others we have integrated. But I will have to consider this matter further before we proceed.
And on that note, it appears we are out of time.
Then we will reconvene later. Serpent guide you.
yes?
Vindicator, we must speak. The time has come to address the matter of Andreja.
Oh, are we finally willing to acknowledge this disaster?
What are you so upset about? He wasn't your cousin.
If only I could have a moment to explain.
Now familial relations matter. You had no love for Tomisar Jamal. None in House Kadik did.
That's not the point.
The much larger point is that Andreja exposed her identity. An explicit violation of her orders.
Yes, but...
Not to mention insubordination against her superior.
I have always operated for the benefit of House Va'ruun. I have devoted my life to that.
There is no need for this blustering, Lovek. You are not performing for an audience.
Again, he was my cousin, not yours. Don't be ridiculous.
Surely, you both must know that House Va'ruun has many operatives in the settled systems. We were made aware of your actions. An inquest was made privately, and we have corroborated some of what you discovered.
Tomisar really was the worst.
While none here are denying the serious breaches of protocol that have taken place, neither can we deny your service to House Va'ruun. We would not be where we are without you. Is that not so, Lovek?
It is.
So, despite your grandstanding, we're still in agreement?
I suppose we are.
Then, this council has determined the matter resolved. No further action will be taken.
Andreja will continue to serve in her current capacity, relaying information back to House Va'ruun.
And rest assured that we will be keeping a close eye.
You are welcome. This is the last time we will speak of any of this.
I cannot thank you enough for what you have done for Dasra, for House Va'ruun. If only more in the settled system shared that view. But history is what it is. Though it is hard to imagine a future for House Va'ruun where Anasco is not leading. But now, House Dul'Kehf will take control. I think they have a well-earned reputation for being measured and reserved. Whether that is what is best for House Va'ruun right now, that remains to be seen. Hopefully, yes. The events here seem to have taken a personal toll on him. With time and guidance from the Great Serpent, he may serve well. Thankfully, this transfer of power comes at a time of peace. You were right to vote against the Crusade. That is a difficult question. It is hard to know whether Anasco was interpreting the Serpent's will correctly. But the decision can always be revisited in the future. For now, I think it best that House Va'ruun focus inward, on recovering and rebuilding. True. There is enough of that to go around. No matter what, the path ahead will be difficult. But at least there still is a path, thanks to your actions. Not that I needed another reason to love you, but I will not forget what you have done for my people. There is little I can offer to show you how much I care, how much you mean to me. We are, I think, beyond whatever House Baroon might consider appropriate. And whatever marriage traditions you might have would not be appropriate for me. Those differences are smaller than they might have been, now that you two are promised. But still, I agree. And that is why we are here. This place, where we stand now, is the first place I was brought upon leaving my city, Dasra. The first time I had ever left my home planet. As you know, I was never allowed to know the way back home. That frightened me. But at the same time, I was suddenly aware of not just one planet, but a whole universe I had never seen. That is a feeling I had not experienced again until I met you. You have already done so. There is no need for you to worry. But there is more. Buried here is something of great value to me. Something I wish you to have. It is best, I think, if you are the one to retrieve it. Every child in House Baroon is entrusted with a pet grot. You have seen them yourself, which it is still surprising to think about. We raise the grot. We care for it, we milk it. And when we come of age, we slaughter the grot and fashion its skull into a dagger. It is a lesson. Through this growth, we are shown the connection that we have to the Great Serpent. That all things serve the Serpent, and can be tools for his use, in more ways than one. I am glad that you can appreciate that. Every member of House Baroon has a dagger like this. We are instructed to keep them at our side at all times. The Great Serpent is always with us, as is the danger of those who defy and oppose him. But that constant connection to the Great Serpent is a liability to those of us sent out into the settled systems. So when we first leave our home, we hide it. Always been. But my mission dictated that my origins remain concealed. So for years, this dagger has remained buried here, hidden from the world. But now, I believe you should have it. With it, I hope you can understand that I trust you completely. That I know you will care for this the way you care for me. And that we are connected in a way that is now truly unique in the settled systems. In all of creation. I love you, and I am yours. Wholly and completely. You are very welcome, and I know that you will. I would not have brought you here otherwise. Now, surely there is some other grand adventure that awaits us. We should go and meet it head on. To what do I owe this pleasure? Do you want to hear me say that you make me deliriously happy? Because you do. Then I shall be sure and tell you more often, darling.
Do you hear it? The great serpent speaks to you, guides you. Let the great serpent forever guide you.